he said that, like as a kids, we want to see it.
Right, of course.
Things like that.
Of course.
And then when I lose my arms while in the hospital, I was going through so much time, but I feel my heart was empty. There's some emptiness I can feel while in the hospital. I needed someone personal, someone who can understand what I'm going through. I know my mother, my father was sitting by me. They probably going to the pain that I was going through, but they can never experience what I've experienced in my own heart. And I wanted someone who knows really what I'm going through. And then while in the hospital, laying in the hospital for 6 months without any type of therapy, anything, you know, and then one day there was some group of Christian people who come in the hospital to pray for the sick people. And they happened to come to my bed. And one of the guys, I don't remember his name, he come to me and told me the story of Job. And to me, it was like, right now I look at it, I say, why did he present the story of Job to me? I never understand why when I was young Christian. But now I look back and I understand it was really a great story to tell, because he understand the situation I was going through. The only way to relate is like put it with Job. He tried to, and I could relate with it. Like he told me, you know, how Job lose everything and then God restore him and God was in control of his life. And after he told me the story of Job, and I feel like I needed a guide like this, but I do it in a selfish way, because I wanted to just God to restore me like Job and give me my arm back and things like this. I said, okay, well, I will give God my heart and things like that. And I did. And he prayed
so your
with me.
motivation was because you were hoping for something else in return, right? And pretty much your arms, right?
Yeah. So, and then after I get converted, one of my other brother get converted, and then my sister get converted, who passed away. My sister passed away 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but she's with the Lord now. And she told, and when she get converted, I remember one time I started praying really with motivation and saying, God, give my arm back, like praying just like you did Job, with really confident that I was going to get my arm back. And then it didn't happen, and I started to doubt, and my sister said, you know, Kesmy, God probably don't give you an arm, will not give you an arm, but he probably have something greater for you than your arms. And I never will forget that. And she passed away, but that would always stick with me and always make me think of her. And the people who come to the hospital to pray with me never stop coming to the hospital again. They constantly coming and pray with us and and continue support me. And then
I think that's so important. I mean, you said a couple things. You talked about what you grew up seeing, and it just makes me think of just societies at large, right? That, you know, it's so important for young people to be able to grow up in communities where they can see positive role models, where they can see, you know, people that are aspiring to do different kinds of things, great things. And I mean, you grew up pretty much seeing, like what you said, right? This is what I saw. I was poor. This is what I saw, and this is what I aspired to, because it was all that I knew. And it's so awesome that somehow you have been kind of redirected. So your sister tells you that there's something greater that God has for you, and that to me is just, it feels like that was a prophetic word. You know, that was something that God put in her spirit to share with you, because it's impacted you and has stayed with you up until now.
Yes, definitely. And after that, well, after I was still in the hospital, and after a while, like a missionary who was in Haiti, actually he died like 2 years ago, I think. He died actually in Haiti.
These were missionaries.
He was a missionary. I think he's from Ohio.
Okay,
and
Ohio?
Okay. He took a plane and went to Haiti. Like, he got to Haiti the same day he died.
Wow.
In Haiti. And this missionary come to the hospital and says, and of course I didn't speak any English, and he didn't speak any Creole, but he had a translator who was translating for him.
You're doing a great job with English now, that's for sure.
I'm trying my best. and I remember the translator said, he told the translator that he come here, he didn't know why he come. He just wake up that morning and he felt there was a push to come to the hospital. He didn't know why. And then he come to the hospital and saw me and prayed for me. He had about in his pocket at that time probably maybe 25 cents, which will equivalent to $5 Haitian. And he bought me a Coke in the hospital. And he said, I don't know why I did come here, but finally I think I know, I understand. And he had to return to Haiti and to the state in 2 weeks. So he can only see me that day. So he prayed with me and said, I know another missionary. I will try to connect you with that missionary.
How old
And
were
then
you?
I was like 12 that time.
You were
by
still
now.
okay. Okay.
I was like 11, almost 12.
Okay,
I turned
okay.
12 in the hospital. So the other missionary, now he connected me with the other missionary who started coming to the hospital with me and pray with me from Michigan. And this missionary buy me bananas and bread, sometimes bring to the hospital, and sometimes support my family with medicine. And then this missionary also had to leave Haiti again in another 2 or 3 weeks. So he told me he can't come. I don't know if he connected me with another missionary who currently supported me now, named Enyum. You probably with my testimony, you see her name there. I call her mother because I've been living with her since then. And she came to the hospital. The very first time she walked in the hospital, I can see in her face like the love that she had for me. She didn't know any English, I mean any Creole, and I didn't know any English. So she didn't know what to say. So she went to me and grabbed my toes and, just want to say something. She doesn't know what to say. And she started playing like this little piggy went to the market.
Yeah, I read
like
that in yours.
And of course I didn't know what that meant, but I remember the fact that she was playing with my toe. And in Haiti, in fact, everybody called her crazy, like Munfu, because the way she act. And and that lady really, it's like God really put her in my heart. And like I said, people like what I was going through in life, even at age 8 to 12, or what I'm going through, like I feel like my sister said to me, God has a plan for me. I don't think the plan was just when I get my arm lost. I think God had a plan even when I didn't even know him, realize him.
Yes.
Because the fact that I said that, like, I feel like there's no other way I feel like I could have come to God than how it is. Maybe he probably had another way he could do it. I don't know. But to me, it seems to me like this is the way it should have done. I feel like God just go out of the village and just pick me up in the village.
It reminds me of Psalm 139 where he says, I knew you while you were being formed in your mother's womb and had a plan for your life. And I know Jeremiah 29:11 is your scripture as well. So, but yeah.
And I feel like when I was in the hospital after I become to know Christ, I feel like, I don't know what, but I feel like since I can breathe, I can sing, and I can talk, God can use me anyway. And started going in relationship with God. In fact, I read the whole book of Job and started reading, and I still constantly believe in miracles and pray that God will give my arm back, and then I pray the full gospel. I pray for my arm days and days and days. I used to do all the time. But now as I go more mature in Christian, and I realize like how God used me a lot of the time, like with my inability, like without arm, it make me so approachable. People come to me all the time just because I don't have arms and come and ask me questions.
Wow.
And a lot of the time I say, if I have arms, I wonder if people will come and ask me the question they're asking me.
Isn't that interesting?
And it's a way that God opened the door, to share what he has done in my life.
Yes.
And I feel like among the 12 children of my family, I'm the only one who has made it that far, able to make to college, and able like to see like being here and experience Greece last summer with the Moody Men Choir, and where God took me. Like I've been in the choir my freshman year at Moody for 2 years. I've been in the choir, and it's such a great opportunity. Every time we get down from after singing, people come and ask questions. Of course they always have questions for me how I do things, and I feel I never know, but now I know why. And God wanted to use what happened to me to show people that he is
who he is. Yeah, and it makes me think of the scripture too, where God chooses the foolish things of the earth to confound the wise, and that word foolish there means a lot, right? The weaker folks, the folks that are struggling, with different things in their life, or someone that may have a physical disability, or whatever. Like I think about Joni Eareckson Tada, who's a quadriplegic. I think so many different people out there that God uses in different ways that to glorify himself. So he's given you a platform. And
again, like I feel right now, the way where I've been, God's is really the one who are leading me since in the beginning. I count whatever happened to me right now. I don't look back and says, why did that happen to me? I used to ask questions like this in the hospital all the time. Why is it me?
Yes, of course.
How many people who've done so many kill people, who've done so many wrong things, but not to them?
Logical questions, though, right?
But I say, you know, God is in control, and sometimes He chooses whoever He wanted to do His work. And I feel like He chooses me to do His work, and I'm willing to do whatever He wants me to do.
Kesmy, your family is where now?
My family's still in Haiti.
They're still in Haiti. Your whole family's still in Haiti.
Except I have two of my brothers who live in St. Martin.
Okay.
They went there for job, you know.
Okay.
It's still.
So you were in the hospital. How long did you stay in the hospital?
I stayed in the hospital for 6 months.
Okay.
And after that 6 months, and the missionary take me, because even after the 6 months, I didn't completely heal. There was still, because like I said, it was really, really deep bond. So she had to take me to the state, to a Detroit Children's Hospital, for better medical treatment. So I stayed with her for 6 months. And while the 6 months...
This is Ann?
Yeah,
Yes,
you.
okay.
And while the 6 months, she continued to take me to church, and I go to church with her and started growing in my relationship with God and learn more about God. And it's also opened my eyes in a deeper way and see God. And I started seeing like what I didn't see in the village, what I was looking for, consider real. But with God, I really see the reality. I see God's hands clearly open, way a lot of the time open, just walking me step by step to where I make it in life. Because there's no way, like what I do, how I become where I am today, I completely don't understand. Even my roommate, sometimes guys in the floor at Moody, constantly asking questions. I know sometimes they think, how does he do that? Like there's some freshmen who come to school today. Like I remember this morning I get up and brushing my teeth, and one of the guys looking like, he was watching me, you know. I pretend like I didn't see him, like he's shaking his head. I don't know, gosh. I can't believe.
How do you brush your teeth,
How does he
Kesmy?
do it?
We want to know.
I do it with my feet.
So you're using your feet now.
I use my feet to do
yeah, because I
everything.
think, like I was saying, Joni Eareckson Tada, too, as a quadriplegic, doesn't have the use of her arms, so she's learned how to use her feet. So you use your feet now to do it. Wow.
And I feel pretty much God is the one who will, even with school, like I get to like high school, I went to Haitian school for only 2 years.
So you stayed in Haiti for how long? So you came here for to finish your, to get better care. And then did you go back to Haiti after that?
Yeah, after the 6 months I returned to Haiti.
Okay, and you stayed in Haiti for how long then?
I stayed in Haiti for my whole high school.
So you were there for high school then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get to 3rd grade when I was in Haitian school. And before I get born, after I get born, I get born in the fire when I was in 3rd grade. So when I went back to Haiti, there wasn't any good Haitian school that I could go through, because I was afraid I'll get made fun of and all that stuff. So my missionary told me there was a missionary school in Haiti, like for missionary kids who go to Haiti, like American school. So she put me in that school. They put me in 3rd grade, and I was the oldest student in my class. And I feel God helped me work through the 3rd grade and make it and graduate in shorter time than I supposed to, and bring me to Moody.
So you were 3rd grade and then went all the way through like high school.
Right.
And high school there is up until what age? Like, is it similar to the States?
Yeah, it's American education.
Oh, it was an American school, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
American school.
So you finished high school there, and then what happened after that?
After that, I actually doing high school.
Well, maybe I should ask you, what was it like being in high school for you?
Well,
and being with the with American children, right?
Yeah, there was some Haitian kids too
Okay.
from the state, and to me it was like completely different, because I didn't know. I started school, I didn't know any English, so it was really a tough journey. I was like in math, I was in 6th grade, and all other subject I was like in 3rd grade. So it was really hard, but I know there wasn't anything else there for me in the world beside, if I can't use my head while living, of course, God, but I'm saying like living, I need education, of course, because I can't use my hands in Haiti. People who doesn't have education use their hands, of course, they make a living.
Yes.
But for me, I understand, I need education, I need my brain. That's the only thing I get. So I force myself and push myself, and then of course they use homeschool programs, so sometimes I do 2 years in 1 year, because I work really hard. And writing, I write with my mouth, and God.
So you've learned to make all these adjustments. So you finished your time out, and you did your high school years there, and then after high school,
I applied to a community college in Michigan.